Motion to instruct conferees on H.R. 4348, offered by Mr. Barrow of Georgia. Mr. Barrow of Georgia moves that the managers on the part of the House at the conference on the disagreeing votes of the two houses on the Senate amendment to the bill, H.R. 4348, be instructed to insist on Title II of the House bill regarding approval of the Keystone XL Pipeline.
Pursuant to Clause 7 of Rule 22, the gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Barrow, and the gentleman from Michigan, Mr. Upton, will each control 30 minutes. The gentleman from California rise.
We have regular order.
House to be in order.
I cannot hear you. I don't know if your microphone's on.
I don't know where the switch is. For what purpose the gentleman from California rise?
Well, Mr. Speaker, I like the Republican side of the aisle, whoever's claiming to speak on this motion, is in fact opposed to the motion.
Mr. Speaker, the House isn't in order.
The House will be in order. The House will be in order. Is the gentleman from Michigan, Mr. Upton, claiming the time in opposition or in favor of?
I would like to claim the time on the Republican side in support of the Barrow resolution.
Mr. Speaker, pursuant to Clause 7B2 of Rule 22, the gentleman from Georgia, therefore, will control 20 minutes. The gentleman from Michigan will control 20 minutes. And Mr. Waxman will control 20 minutes. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Barrow.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield myself such time as I may consume.
The gentleman is recognized for as much time as he may consume.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Speaker, I rise in support of a motion to instruct the conferees on the Surface Transportation Extension Act of 2012 to insist on Title II of that act, which contains provisions of the North American Energy Access Act, essentially calling for the completion of the Keystone XL Pipeline. Mr. Speaker, in these times of increasing security threats and economic uncertainty, the construction of the Keystone XL Pipeline represents a win-win for America's national security and economic interests.
Regular order. Gentleman from Michigan is correct. Gentleman from Georgia deserves to be heard. I'd ask members to please take their seats. Members to take their conversations out of the chamber. Gentleman from Georgia is recognized.
I thank the gentleman. I thank the Speaker. Mr. Speaker, not only will this project create thousands of much-needed jobs, it'll secure America's energy future by reducing our dependence on foreign oil. By working with our neighbors to the north on an effort that ramps up our domestic energy production, we'll better protect families here at home from the effects of energy market insecurity caused by political and economic troubles in other parts of the world. Estimates vary, but the most conservative estimates predict that this job project will create 13,000 new construction jobs and an additional 7,000 manufacturing jobs. But that's not all, Mr. Speaker. Let's put this in perspective. The Keystone XL Pipeline, when operating at capacity, will be able to move 840,000 barrels of oil per day into our domestic refining capacity on domestic production market. And put that in perspective, America imports about 8.4 million barrels per day. The carrying capacity of this pipeline alone is 10% of America's net national daily imports. America consumes 20 million barrels a day. The carrying capacity of this pipeline represents 5% of current U.S. daily consumption of oil products. The U.S. daily produces about 8.8 million barrels a day. This pipeline will have the capacity to bring in 10% in addition, more, what we're already producing on a daily basis here in this country. It also represents approximately a one-third increase in the total daily imports from Canada. If that wasn't enough, the 840,000 this can carry comes real close to the 900,000 barrels a day that we import every day from Venezuela. I don't know about anybody else, but any policy in this country that private enterprise is going to lead the way and pay for that can cause us to tell the folks in Venezuela, goodbye, we'll see you later. That's good policy, good economic policy, good energy policy for this country. Mr. Speaker, we've held hearings on this matter. We've engaged the public and energy experts. We've checked and rechecked for environmental soundness and debated for hours on the floor of this House. After all that, what we're left with is a very well-vetted and I think worthwhile project that's ready to start construction. For the jobs and for the energy security, the folks I represent want us to get moving on this. We have an opportunity to make that happen in the Highway Bill conference that's currently underway. I encourage my colleagues to support my motion to instruct so we can send that message loud and clear to the conferees. With that, Mr. Speaker, I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman from Georgia reserves. Gentleman from Michigan.
Mr. Speaker, I would yield myself as much time as I may consume.
Gentleman is recognized for